Have y'all ever noticed that certain artists are associated with being bad? Like every time their names come up, the most you hear people say is that they're a terrible artist. I've always wondered if these artists are truly terrible, or is it just a popular thing to say? Well, right about now, I'm about to find out if one of these rappers are bad, as their name is always associated with such. By me being a YouTuber, I definitely know the name KSI. I've seen him around here and there, but his content really didn't catch my interest. One thing I was always aware of is that he made music, which is another thing I didn't pay attention to, based off the fact that he was a YouTuber, which led to me not taking him seriously. This was also during the time where a lot of popular YouTubers came off as being corny to me, which ultimately led to me not caring about anything they were involved in. Unfortunately, KSI got lumped in the bunch. But now in 2024, I have a different mindset when it comes to listening to hip hop in general. I'm way more open-minded than I was back then, which leads to me having the ability to listen to almost anyone. Recently, KSI dropped a new song, which was impossible for me to avoid, as it's everywhere. The name of the song is Thick of It, which I only heard in passing. Now, I'm someone that's heard a lot of songs in passing, and when I heard this particular song, I didn't think it was bad. But the backlash it received tells a different story. According to the majority of people, this track is one of the worst songs they've ever heard, as it's unbearable to listen to. Now, since I'm one of the most honest people on the internet, I have to say that these people are out of their minds, as I heard far more worse songs, and on top of that, this song isn't even bad. When I actually sat down and listened to it, KSI's vocals are really good, and the track does a great job giving off that inspirational feel. This also goes for KSI's lyrics and overall flow, which work well with the hype motivational instrumental.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I see it.
Trippie Redd also provided a good verse on this song as well. Now, I'm not saying that this is one of the best songs I've ever heard, but it's definitely something that I'll go back to, as all the elements are executed well. I believe this is an instance where people just call something bad because it's attached to a popular YouTuber, which I was guilty of doing myself, as I never took the time out to listen to these people. Another thing that I noticed about KSI is that he has the bad rapper label put on him, and I want to find out if he's actually a bad rapper. If I'm being honest, I technically answer my own question, as one of his worst songs is considered a good song to me, but this isn't the only thing that's going to determine if KSI is a good rapper to me, as I'm about to listen to his entire discography. He has 7 projects, and I'm about to share my opinion on all of them. This will determine if KSI is actually a bad rapper to me. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. KSI shows potential on this EP. You can definitely sense that he's passionate about rapping, but his overall style feels very amateurish, which is mainly due to his delivery. One element of his amateurish style is that it doesn't feel natural. It seems like he's trying to find out what works for him on this EP, which leads to him showcasing multiple flows. This is a good trait that KSI has, as it showcases his abilities. A perfect example of this is the track Kilimanjaro, which involves him presenting multiple styles and flows. I was impressed by KSI's verses at the first half of this track, as he provides a semi-melodic aggressive flow. This shows that he can effectively provide an amusing style, which could possibly lead to him making enjoyable songs in the future. But sadly, as this song progressed, KSI's style became unappealing, as his hype flow is very sloppy. His flow is also pretentious on some tracks, which leads to his style feeling unnatural. The reason this is the case is because you can tell he's trying his hardest to impress the listener. A good example of this is the intro track Keep Up, which involves KSI and the featured artist GME providing unamusing intense deliveries that sound unappealing overall. This happened again on the song Lambo Refueled, which holds KSI's worst performance, as his pretentious fast flow isn't sonically appealing in the slightest. Thankfully, there is an instance on this track that highlights a great example of a flow that feels natural. The featured artist Young's Teflon has the best performance on this EP, as he sounds like an authentic rapper. This leads to another flaw on this project, as it feels very mainstream. Now, I know this is ironic, as KSI is mainstream, and that would make sense, but for me, it comes off as being unauthentic. But even though this is the case, I can still sense the passion from KSI through some of his performances on this project. In conclusion, this wasn't really a good EP, as there isn't a single track that I'll come back to. But with all that being said, I don't think the songs are bad. KSI truly needs to master his style, because it feels very beginner-like on this project for the most part.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. It's KSI, yeah, here we go again. Take it with the flow.
KSI provides impressive performances on this EP. His style no longer feels amateurish, as his flows feel more natural. This led to a ton of surprisingly good performances on this project, which involves KSI showcasing various styles. I was completely blown away by his performance on the intro track Touchdown, as he worked well with the featured artist. This song features Steph London, who's most definitely the more experienced rapper. But this didn't stop KSI from bringing his A game, as their styles complement each other's remarkably on this track. Although I didn't like the sound of KSI's raspy flow on the song Jump Around, he still provides an intriguing hype style with multiple elements to his delivery. This then leads to his best performance yet, which is his fascinating monotone flow on the track Friends with Benefits. This song is extremely catchy due to the production and KSI's overall flow.
Way too young for the ring ting. You want it down to the kingpin. 68 plus 1, that's a win-win.
I honestly can't believe how well KSI developed, as it's only his second project. I must note that this EP came out 9 months after his first project, which could have definitely meant KSI spent those months working on his craft. He also did a great job providing passionate vocals, which continues to highlight his eagerness to succeed as a rapper. This is very noticeable on the song Sticks and Stones, as you can hear the determination in KSI's voice. Another major highlight on this track are the amazing singing vocals from the featured artist Arjun. Although KSI impressed me on this EP, I still feel like his style isn't fully refined. I still want to feel like KSI is 100% confident in his craft, and is not just all for play. With that being said, this EP is a great step in the right direction.
I ain't tryna tell anybody how to live.
KSI went all out on this project and greatly improved his skill. He provides multiple styles and flows with great execution on this EP. I was highly impressed by his abilities, and I didn't expect for this project to be this good. The production has a dark feel to it, which combines well with the concepts and performances from KSI. KSI deals with various hardships that involve people doubting him and painting false narratives about him. This leads to him lashing out and cutting these people off in order to continue to thrive in his endeavors. These concepts also led to KSI providing intriguing aggressive flows. The intro track Tommy Gun is a great example of this, as his aggressive flow works well with the hard-hitting production. Another great thing about his style on this track is that he provides multiple fast flows, and he even showcases a melodic style which he executes exceptionally. The second track Creature involves him showcasing another style which is very sinister. This song also highlights the overall concept of this EP, as KSI talks about how various entities mischaracterize him. Although KSI's style is unique on this track, there is a creative choice in his flow that I didn't care for. This involves his hype delivery at certain moments. This is the only instance on this project where I didn't like a creative style in KSI's vocal performance. The rest of this project consists of him effectively executing multiple styles and flows. A major highlight for me is the song Leave Me Alone. The Savage Drill inspired instrumental works incredibly well with his passionate aggressive style.
Fuck your bad intentions, fuck your social, I don't need your mentions. Swimming now, I'm fucking with your girl.
He continues to execute this throughout this project, and I'm highly impressed. This was almost a flawless project, as KSI seriously brought his A game.
Little boy trying to get involved. Come on then, let's get involved, you prick. Plus point out when I rap.
This EP consists of various diss tracks from a popular era of YouTube. Although I remember the diss track wars on YouTube back then, I didn't listen to a single one. I have no idea who KSI is dissing on this project. With that being said, the diss tracks on this EP don't interest me. Another reason why I don't care for the diss tracks is because you can tell that they're all in fun due to how KSI approaches them. I still believe even if I knew the people KSI was dissing, these songs would only be good for one listen, as they don't do enough to keep my interest. But although this is the case, there is a diss track on this project that did meet my expectations. On the song Adam's Apple, KSI disses someone named Adam, and his lyrics seem very personal, as he mentions things about this guy that could possibly lead to a serious altercation. KSI talks about how this guy cuts himself and that he's a bad father. This also leads to KSI performing really well on this track, as his multiple aggressive fast flows are executed remarkably.
End of this, you're gonna really wanna kill me. End of this, your fans are really gonna feel me. Never miss whenever suckers wanna grill me.
There are other gems on this project that are not diss tracks, which are the highlights for me. The tracks Medusa and Noob involves KSI showcasing his intriguing rap abilities, which consist of multiple styles and flows. The song Noob is a major highlight for me, as KSI uses an effect on his voice to make it sound deeper, which works incredibly well over the slow, depressing production. The song Medusa involves KSI presenting multiple melodic flows over soothing production. The concept of this track is another highlight, as KSI talks about the hardships of being rich and famous.
I don't want fame and gold. Give me that fame and gold. I don't want fame and gold.
In In conclusion, this is a good project overall. Although I didn't really care for the diss tracks, they aren't bad, and I actually enjoyed one of them. The songs that aren't diss tracks continue to showcase KSI's abilities, which makes me excited to hear what else he has to offer.
Young when a young sinner, be so when I'm done, then a head spin, a cash spin, a brother, I'm the bread, when a bread, but I run, that you and be the soul son.
This is a collaboration project KSI did with another YouTuber named Randolph. Their styles complement each other incredibly, as they share a lot of the same characteristics. They both have the ability to provide multiple styles and flows. Randolph did most of the melodic portions on this project, and his singing vocals are great on his verses and hooks. I like the overall feel and concept of this project, as KSI and Randolph talk about how it's a new age, which consists of them continuing to evolve in their careers and overall journeys in life. They're both committed to their craft and don't plan on stopping anytime soon. This ultimately led to countless bangers on this project. Two major highlights for me are the tracks Beerus and Clean. Both of these tracks consist of creatively unique production and intriguing multiple styles and flows from KSI and Randolph.
Nothing was the same, now I'm never ever bored. One day I'm spinning racks, the other I'm getting paid.
This continued for the majority of this project, but there are quite a bit of flaws. The song Real Name didn't sonically appeal to me overall, as it contains very lighthearted production, which comes off as sounding girly. KSI provides a very lackluster performance on the song Slow Motion, as he sounds unenthused. I also didn't like him and GME's very pretentious verses on the song Pull Up, as it sounds like they're trying their hardest to impress the listener with intense flows. Speaking of pretentious, the featured artist Quedeca completely ruined the song Roll the Dice, as he provides two unamusing styles that are extremely annoying.
Talking familiar, how I be antisocial but making racks on social media. Yeah, I took a chance on this shit.
I think it's safe to say that the MVP of this project was Randolph, as he doesn't have a bad performance. I forgot to mention that the tracks that featured the artists GME and Quedeca don't include KSI and Randolph on the songs together. KSI is on the track with GME, and Randolph is on the song with Quedeca. The reason I bring this up is because this project shines when KSI and Randolph are on tracks together, as their chemistry is really good. With all this being said, this is a pretty good album. KSI and Randolph's styles complement each other exceptionally. The negatives of this project is when they're not on tracks together, along with some creative choices not being sonically appealing.
Always come through with a beat, all to do a lot of trouble me. Visionary still won't tunnel me.
KSI's debut album is very interesting. It feels like he's constantly trying to find his lane on this project, which involves him experimenting with different styles and flows. I highly commend KSI for this, as it gives him room to master particular styles in the future. With that being said, there are many different production and vocal styles on this album that range from dance, R&B, and hip-hop. KSI's melodic performances are great for the most part, and he even has intriguing vocals with the auto-tune effect. One thing I instantly noticed about this project is that it's feature heavy. This isn't a bad thing, as KSI matched the styles of the featured artists exceptionally. A great example of this is his reggae flow on the song Houdini, which greatly blends with the styles of the reggae artists Tion Wayne and Swarms.
Bring that thing in a place where you need it. Big thing, make me wanna boss when I beat it. Me not even care, I be a fake.
Another good example of this is KSI's unique melodic auto-tune performance on the song Bad Lil Vibe, which works incredibly well with Jeremiah's singing vocals. KSI continues to impress me on these projects, as he has the ability to adapt to different styles of production with multiple flows. Although KSI continues to greatly showcase his style, there are quite a bit of flaws on this project. KSI provides very unamusing performances on two tracks. I was disappointed by his flow choice on the song Wake Up Call, as Trippie Redd provides an incredible melodic performance. Trippie's vocals are also joyful on this track, along with the instrumental. For some reason, KSI decided to rap with a sinister flow, which throws off the happy feel of this song.
See me get in the cheddar, see me sprinkle the pepper. Panoramic my view and leading in trending.
On the track Millions, KSI's flow is boring and amateurish. I believe he was going for a depressed flow, which reflects the concept, but the overall execution wasn't sonically appealing for me. Another flaw on this project are some of the lackluster performances from the guest features. Offset's performance severely lacks authenticity on the song Cap. The reason I say this is because it feels like he just punched in his verse with little effort, which left KSI hanging and drying. Lil Pump, Smoke Purp, and KSI's triplet flows are extremely repetitious on the song Poppin', which left me with a serious headache. I was upset that the featured artist XX ruined the song down like that, as KSI, Rick Ross, and Lil Baby absolutely killed their verses. I didn't like XX's singing performance on the hook, as his high-pitched voice is immensely annoying. Two major highlights come from KSI providing solo performances, which is a major plus as he wasn't carried by features. He actually isn't carried by features in any instance on this project, as his style is pretty elite if you ask me. On the song Domain and Undefeated, he provides incredible passionate flows. His lyrics are another highlight as he motivates the listener to continue to thrive in their endeavors. He's the definition of success as he worked hard to get where he's at, and he isn't going to let anything stop him from continuing to reach great heights.
Undefeated in the drop top, I'm spitting in. Every building that just swallow like a cinnamon.
In conclusion, this is a good album. It's definitely a mixed bag, as there are some great performances along with mediocre ones.
Where were you when I was down? Where were you? Guess you with the shit now. Number 2.
This album couldn't have had a more fitting title, as it's definitely all over the place. There are so many things going on that it becomes a bit overwhelming. This is by far KSI's most creative project, as it consists of many variations of hip-hop. This is also one of this project's downfalls, as some of KSI's creative choices aren't sonically appealing to me. There are instances where KSI completely amazed me with his performances, which continues to highlight his skill. I honestly didn't think KSI would have been this versatile prior to checking out his projects. He completely blew me away with his singing performance on the song Holiday, as he provides amazing passionate vocals throughout this song.
I wanna be here for the rest of my life. Looking for some.
KSI's skillful rap style also led to him collabing well with the featured artist for the most part. Another major highlight for me is the song Really Love. KSI effortlessly flows over the soothing upbeat dance instrumental, which combines perfectly with the angelic singing vocals from the featured artist Craig David. While on the subject of guest features, this project is filled with them. Almost every track has a guest artist, which surprisingly isn't an issue for me, as KSI performs well with them for the most part. The tracks that I didn't care for that have guest features are usually because of their performances. A well-known issue appeared on this project, as some of the guest artists felt very out of place on songs with KSI. This is the same thing that happened on his previous album, as the artist seemed unenthused to record music with him. A perfect example of this is Future and 21 Savage's dry performances on the song Number 2. The song Patience is incredibly unique, as it has a pop feel to it. Polo G is one of the featured artists on this track, and his performance is very minimal, as if he was only paid to drop a couple of bars. Thankfully, his short performance isn't bad. KSI and Young Blood absolutely killed the rest of this track, as their melodic performances are great. Another instance where a feature artist ruined a song for me is on the song Lose. Wayne's auto-tune rap flow on the first verse is almost unbearable for me, as I don't like how his voice sounds with the effect. But although this flaw exists on this track, KSI and Wayne have great chemistry as they provide compelling melodic vocals. One thing that's noticeable on this album are the various tracks that have the same upbeat dance feel to them. This repetitious production style is very noticeable, but thankfully KSI and the featured artist made them enjoyable for the most part. The tracks You, Rent Free, Flash, No Pressure, Swerve, and Know You all have similar production, which may be an issue for some listeners. Another thing KSI did well on this project was provide good concepts throughout. He talks about love, relationship issues, and motivation. He got somewhat personal on the song Sleeping with the Enemy, as he talks about the moment he realized school wasn't for him, which led to him pursuing his true goals. His performance on this track is great, as he showcases passion in his overall delivery. This track also has another great performance from a guest feature, as XX provides fiery singing vocals, which matches well with KSI's passionate style.
Sorry, mom, but I'm for real. I'm done with living up a life that's just a big ordeal.
In conclusion, this is a great album, as it has a lot to offer. KSI really got into his creative bag with this project. The only major issue is that it lacks structure, as it's all over the place, which was probably the point. Now to answer the question, is KSI a bad rapper? Absolutely not. One thing KSI did in his discography that I was highly impressed with is his ability to provide multiple styles and flows. Now if you're a casual rap fan, you're not going to be able to acknowledge the fact that this isn't an easy thing to do. This alone makes KSI not a bad rapper for me, as he effectively provides multiple songs with unique styles. He was able to provide enjoyable Afrobeat songs, pop songs, R&B tracks, songs that have a depressing feel, and he also can provide hype tracks with aggressive delivery. I honestly don't know what else people look for in a rapper, as KSI has multiple elements that make him interesting. But even though KSI has multiple enjoyable styles, I feel like he needs to structure his albums more effectively. His 2 albums are very convoluted, as they're packed with unique styles with no real direction. In the future, I want KSI to really home in on a concept on his projects in order for it to have good structure. But even though this flaw exists, he still has the ability to make enjoyable music overall, which is a major plus for me. I highly enjoy listening to his projects, as his style is filled with a ton of creativity. I honestly can't believe that I'm saying this, but I can't wait to hear the next project from KSI. Hopefully he continues to provide a high level of creativity, just as he did on his previous projects, along with having more cohesiveness. With that being said, this was another episode of my Bad Rapper series. Stay tuned because I plan to do a lot more.